समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या? समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
For too long now, for 6 consecutive weeks, in fact a little bit more, starting with 22nd of April, the Pahalgam outrage, we've been talking about terrorism, violence, war and other unpleasant stuff. That's why I feel so happy to break that monotony of negativity with a story that is not only happy or positive, but it's also a true matter of joy. It's a matter of joy because after so many decades of planning, the laying of so many foundation stones, so many inaugurations, in fact, so many foundation stones have been laid for this project that I have an idea that given how long projects take in India, and that is true of almost all projects historically, maybe we should collect all the foundation stones that were laid for various projects except the final one and make a museum of them. There should be a museum of foundation stones. I tell you, you will need a large plot of land and maybe a very big building to house them in, because that will be a museum to tell you the story of our delays, our processes that take too long, our cost overruns, etc., etc. Given that history, it becomes doubly a matter of joy when a difficult project is completed, and that difficult project now is the total completion of the Katra to Baramula railway line. Now, this is 272 kilometers. The important thing is Katra itself, which is in the Jammu region of Jammu and Kashmir. Katra is also the stop for Vaishno Devi pilgrimage. Katra is already connected with New Delhi and thereby with the rest of the country. With this railway line now, you can go seamlessly from any part of India to the most distant part of Kashmir Valley by train. You remember that song from Chennai Express, the Shah Rukh Khan, Deepika Padukone starrer, that came to me. Kashmir mein to Kanyakumari, north-south ki dekho kat gayi duri hi sari. It's a bit like that. It's a phenomenon like that. This has been a dream for a long time. In fact, the Maharaja of Jammu and Kashmir, the Dogra Maharaja in late 19th century. This was Maharaja Pratap Singh who ruled Jammu and Kashmir from 1885 until 1925. He had imagined this rail connection. He had also commissioned some British engineers to do a plan and to look at it, but those days maybe the degree of difficulty was too high. Resources were not available. It also would not make adequate economic sense, so it wasn't done. That plan just remained on paper. However, subsequently, as India became independent and as Jammu and Kashmir started drawing special focus of New Delhi, when that happened, then this idea surfaced. So I will tell you, first of all, precisely what's happened today. The Prime Minister has inaugurated the railway line. What he's done, he's inaugurated the last 63-kilometer section. See the map on your screens. This is the map of the railway line, say from Jammu right up to Baramula. From Jammu to Katra, in any case, trains were going. From Delhi, you can take a Vande Bharat Express and go straight to Katra, do your darshan at Vaishno Devi and come back quickly. That is a seamless train connection. At the other end, in Kashmir Valley, trains had started earlier. I will give you timelines as we go along. Then that train line kept on coming this side of the Kashmir Valley. Ultimately, it also crossed the Banihal Tunnel. A new tunnel was built called T50. It's the longest transport tunnel in India, 12.77 kilometers. Again, an engineering marvel. It came this side, the Jammu side of Banihal Tunnel, and there it stopped at a place called, it terminated at a place called Sangaldan. The reason it terminated at Sangaldan was that after Sangaldan came very difficult geographical challenges. There were two rivers, two deep gorges. So one deep gorge, a deep chasm was over Anji River. It's called Anji Khad. Khad literally means a chasm. It means a drop, a deep, sharp drop. So that was one. And the other was the Chenab River. Chenab River flows through the mountains, making a very deep canyon. Now, either you can find some way of going round and round the hills and reaching the other side. That you can do maybe by road. But for a rail to efficiently and safely traverse this distance, that too with broad gauge, the same gauge that all of India has, you had to build a bridge over Chenab River. These were two big engineering challenges and also daunting projects, given also one, the topography of the area, second, the geology of the area, because these are very fragile mountains. And third, as you would expect, there is the weather, there are the environmental issues, there were the PILs, and also the threat of terrorism. So there were security threats as well. This has taken time. These bridges are now complete. The big bridge over Chenab River, that is the tallest rail bridge in the world. So tall that this is 35 meters more than Eiffel Tower. I will give you some details on the bridge. The world's highest rail bridge this is. This is 359 meters. Sometimes when it comes to altitude, feet still register better in our heads. 359 meters or 1177 feet. 1177. That is how high this bridge is from the river bed. Not how high this is above mean sea level, above the river bed. That's how high it is. That is 35 meters more than Eiffel Tower. The bridge itself, see the pictures, see the Prime Minister there. The length of the bridge is 1.315 meters. This is where the train will now be running across. And then the other bridge over the Anji River. So while this is the world's highest rail bridge, engineering marvel, the other one, the bridge called the Anji Khad Bridge, Anji Khad I just explained to you. Anji, it's a tributary of Chenab River. That is India's first fully cable-stayed railway bridge. It's a cable-stayed bridge with 96 cables. It's held together by 96 cables on a single pylon. So see the picture of the bridge, single pylon, 96 cables. It's 331 meters high above the riverbed level. So that is 1085 feet, not much lower than the Chenab Bridge. Its length is 725 meters. And after this, you come to Pir Panjal Tunnel, which is called T50, which I told you about. That also is an engineering marvel. That is 12.77 kilometers. So what's happened today is, what has the Prime Minister inaugurated today? He's inaugurated the 63-kilometer stretch between Katra and Sangaldan. Again, to understand this more clearly, the train service between Sangaldan on the Jammu side of Banihal Tunnel, from Sangaldan across Banihal Tunnel into Kashmir Valley, going right up to Baramula. That train service had already been running. Also, train service right up to Katra had already been running. What's now been opened is this very difficult, very challenging 63-kilometer section to connect Katra with Sangaldan. And once again, what this means is that from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and Kashmir starting from Baramula, now you are connected to one rail network in India. It is quite a day of achievement and something to celebrate for everybody, irrespective of where anybody lives in India. So for people who live in Jammu and Kashmir, especially for those in Kashmir Valley, this makes connectivity much easier. This makes it that much easier for students to travel. This also means airfares will not be as expensive as before. This also means that some of the uncertainty that the temperamental nature of the mountains there, particularly with landslides, used to create on the highway. People would get stuck for days. Sometimes there was also safety concerns because landslides will start without a warning, sometimes in fair weather as well. All of those have been taken out of the equation. This also means that a lot of the cargo, merchandise, most importantly horticultural products from the valley can now be transported by rail to the rest of the country. This is a revolutionary change. See the magic that just 63 kilometers of railway line can create. This said, I will also tell you what a degree of difficulty this has had, how long it's been planned. I told you about, I sort of semi-facetiously talked about setting up a museum of wasted foundation stones, right? It will be a lot of foundation stones, but let me give you some bit of what's happened with this rail connection. This is 272 kilometers. This is 272 kilometers. Udhampur to Baramula is 272 kilometers. This was first formally planned, and also a decision was taken to make this railway line 42 years ago. Since then, 7 prime ministers have either laid foundation stones of different sections of this railway line or inaugurated different sections of the railway line. The only prime ministers who missed out were Chandrasekhar, who wasn't there for too long, or VP Singh again wasn't there for too long, plus he wasn't doing anything constructive at any point of time in any case, and Narasimha Rao, who besides other things was also battling with insurgency in Punjab and peak insurgency in Kashmir at the same time. So in fact, in his time also, I will give you the details, some activity took place, but he wasn't able to go himself. He sent his railway minister at that point, and when I tell you who the railway minister was, you might be surprised. Let me give you the story of 42 years. Of course, I told you the thought had started with the Dogra ruler who ruled between 1885 and 1925. But the first foundation stone, the first basic decision was taken by Mrs. Gandhi in her post-emergency term, when she decided there will be this railway line, although at that point of time, the beginning was not that ambitious. The beginning was to connect Jammu with Udhampur. 1983, she laid the foundation of the 54-kilometer Jammu-Udhampur railway line. But no work took place because that was the time when insurgency in Punjab had started picking up. 1983, it peaked. 1984 was Operation Blue Star, and then her assassination and more. So no work took place. She just laid that foundation stone. That foundation stone stayed there. 1986, however, Rajiv Gandhi went there and he laid the foundation stone for the same stretch. I told you we need a museum of foundation stones. He laid a foundation stone for the same stretch, but construction still did not start because the same year he had begun to get into political trouble. By 1986-87, Beaufort started, exercise brass tacks came, then IPKF, the Sri Lanka crisis came. So from then on, he was caught in crisis, so no construction took place. Construction started only in 1995. 1995, construction started, and then again a foundation stone was laid for the beginning of the construction in 1995. By that time, Narasimha Rao had more or less put down that phase of the insurgency in Kashmir Valley. That is what I call as the Haider phase. That's the phase featurized in Vishal Bhardwaj's film Haider. That's exactly the era. By 1995, some calm had been achieved. Construction started, and that's when Railway Minister in Narasimha Rao's government went there for another foundation stone. That Railway Minister, I told you, will surprise you, the name. That was Suresh Kalmadi. We know that Narasimha Rao, towards his last months, had made many drastic and surprising changes to his cabinet. He had got many of his own people caught in Jain Hawala scam and rewarded many other people. God knows what he was doing. Maybe it was Chandraswamy who was telling him to do all these things. But at that point, Suresh Kalmadi, surprisingly, was our rail minister. Now comes S.T. Devagowda on 15th March 1997. He lays the foundation stone, this time on the same railway line of the Udhampur-Baramulla link. When he did so, the alignment showed 290 kilometers. However, the railway line finally is 272 kilometers because in the course of time, this alignment has changed. Obviously, it's improved to cut the distance. Then just a few months later, in July the same year, Indra Kumar Gujral, who succeeded Devagowda, these were short prime ministerships, he succeeded Devagowda and he came to Kashmir Valley again, this time to lay the foundation stone of the same line, Udhampur-Baramulla line, from the Baramula side. Deve Gowda had laid the foundation stone from the Udhampur side. This done in April 2003, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he was making his famous outreaches to people of Kashmir, when he was saying, somebody said, आप तो कहते हैं संविधान के दायरे में बात करो, talk in the constitution, within the parameters of constitution, how do we talk with you? And he said, नहीं, आप प्यार के दायरे में, आप मोहब्बत के दायरे में बात करो, right? मोहब्बत or trust. So that is when he was making his outreach to people of Kashmir Valley. That is when he laid the foundation stone of the bridge to be constructed, railway bridge to be constructed over river Jhelum near Kazigund, along the same railway line, along the same railway alignment. In fact, in 2002, Atal Bihari Vajpayee declared this railway line as a national project, saying that the central government will pay the entire cost of the project. And then in 2005, Manmohan Singh went to Kashmir and inaugurated the 54-kilometer stretch from Jammu to Udhampur. That is the stretch for which Mrs. Gandhi, Indira Gandhi in this case, when we say Mrs. Gandhi, we mean Indira Gandhi, but Sonia Gandhi, we say Sonia Gandhi. Mrs. Gandhi laid the foundation stone in 1983. So see the degree of difficulty and the speed and also the speed at which the Indian system moved. It took 22 years to make just this 54 kilometers of railway line on pretty much level ground. There were challenges, geographical challenges, but not like constructing a railway line in the mountains. This wasn't that challenging a terrain, but still finally this 54 kilometers got made. In October 2008, Manmohan Singh went to the valley again and inaugurated the Anantnag to Mazom section of the railway line that is within the valley. So this became a railway line within the valley. This was 66 kilometers. Mazom is very close to Srinagar. It took another several months. In Feb 2009, Sonia Gandhi now went to the valley and inaugurated the section from Mazom to Baramula. Now, the Kashmir Valley had a train running between Anantnag at one end and Baramula at the other. Then in October 2009, same year, Manmohan Singh goes back and he inaugurates the section between Anantnag and Kazigund. Now what's happening is the railway line in the valley is coming closer to Banihal tunnel. It is coming closer to Jammu in a way, because between the valley and Jammu is the Pir Panjal range. So this is coming closer to the foot of the Pir Panjal range. Now you have the railway line running almost across the entire Kashmir Valley from Kazigund to Baramula. This is October 2009. See how this progresses. June 2013, Manmohan Singh goes back again and inaugurates the Kazigund Banihal section along with Sonia Gandhi. Both of them go together. So now the valley railway line has come to Banihal. And then 2014, Modi goes to Jammu and Kashmir and inaugurates the 25-kilometer section between Udhampur and Katra. Right? So this line is moving. It's only 272 kilometers. But once again, you can see the challenges there and the pace at which the state is moving. There are many compulsions and many issues, and yet the project is moving. However, the most difficult part has been completed only now. In Feb 2024, electric trains was brought to Kashmir Valley for the first time, and it started running from Baramula to Sangaldan. Sangaldan is this side of the Banihal tunnel, which means in the Jammu region, although sort of the outer reaches of Jammu region. That's because the Banihal Sangaldan section was completed in 2023. Now, what does it tell us? Just the other day, we told you the story of the BrahMos missile. That how BrahMos missile was visualized by one Prime Minister at one point, and how it traveled from one Prime Minister to another, to another, to another. That also had been visualized in the Indira Gandhi era by Dr. APJ Kalam, who also had as his partner Dr. Shivanthu Pillai. In fact, someday we'll give you a profile about him. Many of you have asked for it. He was a wonderful contributor to India's defense effort and in so many ways a parent of the BrahMos missile system. We'll talk about it later, but you saw the continuity in our system, that despite our broken politics, when it comes to the larger national interest, they all work in the same direction. Sometimes the speed is more, sometimes it's a bit less, sometimes there are distractions, sometimes you get time to focus, sometimes you have a majority, sometimes you don't have a majority, but together it's like a relay race. One runs to some distance, hands over the baton to the next one, who then runs some distance, hands over the baton to the next one, and that's how the race is completed. That race got completed today with the inauguration of the full Katra Baramula section.